Rockets even up the series 1-1, 127-105. It was a beatdown from the second quarter on. Warriors had instances where they could have made a comeback. They cut the lead to 11, sometimes 10, but Eric Gordon would hit a big shot or PJ Tucker would hit a corner three. And they came out with a sense of urgency, which they definitely had to do so. They were down 1-0 already. And a lot of people are making a big fuss about what Houston did to the Golden State Warriors. And I think we're not really looking at the bigger picture of things. Here's the bigger picture, guys. The Houston Rockets already lost home court advantage. We can agree to that. Another thing is, the Houston Rockets don't have an answer for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant in these past two games basically averaging close to 38 points a game. Now, he's not getting a lot of assists or whatever the case is, but that's fine because eventually that's going to play itself and work itself out. But they have no answer for Kevin Durant. Another big picture item, Stephen Curry is struggling in this series. And I would say struggling, like the first game one, it wasn't as bad. He had 18 points, he was 8 for 15. So I think he was over 50% there. So, he's struggling from three, which is his secret weapon, secret sauce. And another big picture item is the Houston Rockets are going at Stephen Curry's neck in terms of defense. Every time they keep running pick and roll for him and stuff like that, so he could be in the pick and roll so they can go at him or whatever the case is. But that's basically every team's game plan. But there's a couple big picture items that we have to lay out there. PJ Tucker had like 20 plus points. Trevor Ariza had 19. Eric Gordon had about 27. Are they going to keep that up for the rest of the 5 games left in this series? My answer would be to that, most likely not. So the thing is, most people just keep losing sight of Houston had to win that game just to make it a series. The way everybody's talking today is as if Golden State had home court advantage and they lost game 2 on their home court. And that's not the case. See, Golden State, believe it or not, is in a much more favorable state. They already won one in Houston, and now they just have to go to Golden State and take care of business at home. If you don't understand what that means, it means that Andre Iguodala is not going to have 4 points. It means Draymond Green is not going to have 4 points. It means Steph Curry and Klay Thompson is not going to have 8 points. And that is very dangerous for the Houston Rockets because right now they got a lot of confidence and they feel like, okay, this is how we play ball. We made no adjustments when they made adjustments and stuff like that. Now you got to go take one from the Golden State Warriors just to make it, hopefully you can make it a 2-2 series. So that's the crux of this position. The thing is, you lost home court advantage. Like a lot of people just don't that's huge. Losing game 1 like that was huge. They had to win game 2 or the series would have been over. So they won game 2. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like the 2013 Miami Heat, where game 1 they lost that game. And then 2014, again, like I think it was game 1 or game 2, they lost that game. They won the second game. But it didn't spell good for them because if you remember, if it wasn't for that Ray Allen shot, they lose that series. And then the next series, they got the doors blown off of them. So that being said, it's highly critical that we all notice what is the real and what's going on about this series. They can't stop KD. Stephen Curry is struggling, and for whatever the case is, but the Warriors got what they came for. They got a series split. That's the most important thing because the next 2 games are in Golden State. If Golden State wins the next game, which is game 3, there is so much pressure on the Houston Rockets to win game 4. If they come back to Houston down 3-1, series is a wrap. So they can't get too excited. And I think the Warriors basically lost sight of what they could possibly do. They could have went up 2-0, but you're playing a great team opposite of you. You can't expect to just dominate them every single game. There's going to be games where they win, they get pushed back, they get calls, things don't go your way. So I think we just hold the Warriors to such a high standard. There it is, a high standard that we're like, oh, the past 2 years in the playoffs, they're 25-3. Like, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of those playoffs, the games that they did play, a lot of teams they played were injured. Kawhi went down. Utah, George Hill didn't play. In the next series, there was another injury. So we have to keep sight of that. Like, you can't lose sight of situations like that. So there's, even though they are 25 and, like, I guess 4 now in the past 2 years in the playoffs, you can't be like, well, that's because they're so nasty. There's other circumstances that take place, and they can lose games. Like, it's okay for them to lose a game, but what's not okay for Houston is they just split at home, guys. You guys just don't understand how huge that is. That is huge. That is really, really huge. Think about this. What if the shoe was on the other foot? Golden State split the series at home, 1-1. And you're going to Houston for 2 games. It wouldn't look too good now, would it? So they got to tighten up some things defensively. D'Antoni added some motion to the offense, which is huge. But we can't lose sight of the fact the split at home is huge. I really thought that Houston could to make it a 6-game series. Houston with 2 at home, Golden State with 2 at home, and then the last 3 games would be critical. Now the rest of the series, all of the games are critical, especially for Houston. So to win this series, they need to have that Herculean effort from PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza, Eric Gordon. And that's the thing. You can't count on role players to give you 20 points every single game. There's going to be games where they struggle. And vice versa, starters, they're consistently used to getting you double digits and stuff like that. So I don't expect Iguodala to have 4. I don't expect Klay Thompson to have 8 at home. Like, these are the things that we have to really take into account. So it feels good now. I'm really happy that they won that game, because if they went down 2-0, the playoffs would have been extremely disappointing. But they have to be ever vigilant, because now they're going on the road to the defending champ's house. And like the way that Houston played better at home game 2, Warriors are going to play way better at home game 3. And this is what I expect. This is something that I expect Steve Kerr to do as an adjustment. Kevin Durant is going to go in the post. And when he goes in the post and you guys aren't doubling, you will foul. And if you do not foul, you will get scored on. And if you do not double, you will get scored on. And if you double, they're going to kick out to open shooters and you will get scored on. That's going to be something that they're going to do. I bet it. I'll bet money that Kevin Durant goes in the post. He starts the pinch post action, and that you're going to see a little series shift right there. The Rockets are going to continue to go at Curry. I don't think necessarily like his defense is bad. It's not like it's bad. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was like one stat, the Rockets got 31 points in the quarter, but they got 31 points in the quarter. The Warriors got 29. So it's not like going at Curry is the problem or whatever per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, they're in a really good position. Split the series 1-1. Now you're going back home. Rockets really are in a vulnerable state, because if they lose game 3, then it puts so much emphasis on them to win game 4. And if they lose game 4, then the series is over. So we just have to watch it play out. To me, it was a 6 or 7 game series. I hope we get the back and forth, and I like the way that it's going now. I like the way that the other guys woke up, but I don't think Stephen Curry's struggles are gonna continue, especially when he goes back home, especially when they make those adjustments, especially if they put Kevin Durant in the post. If they put Kevin Durant in the post, it's gonna be a problem, guys. And if they choose to double off Draymond Green, Draymond's gonna get the ball. He might shoot a 3. He might not. He probably will drive and get to the line, get to the foul line, get fouled and get to the line. Because Warriors will get more calls in the Oracle. You saw game 2, they didn't get any calls. And Curry was getting hit on the head, bopped on the shoulder, or whatever the case is. So we'll see how it is. Great game by Houston. Love to see it. Love the up and down. That's what they had to do in order to avoid getting swept. And that's good. That's perfect. So we'll see what happens game 3. Game 3 to me is a must-win for the Warriors. They got to win that game to assert their dominance. If they don't win that game, it's panic mode, because now Rockets beat you 2 in a row. So we'll see how it goes out.